Hour.
Welcome to Good Morning Las Vegas with Mary Ruth Carleton and John Gregory.
Good morning, Las Vegas. I'm Mary Ruth Carleton.
And I'm John Gregory. Sunny and warm seems to be the only items on the weather menu today.
Let's take a look at our current conditions. Right now, it's 75 degrees. It is clear. Humidity 21%. The winds are westerly at 6 miles per hour, and the barometer is rising. For the rest of the day, sunny, 95 to 100 degrees. Southerly winds 10 to 20. Tonight, fair, 65 to 70. And the winds again will be southerly, not too bad.
The morning commute looks like a busy one so far. Southbound I-15 at the Tropicana underpass has been closed down for continued road work. All southbound traffic is using a northbound lane. Access to east and westbound Tropicana is now available from I-15. Roadwork continues on Eastern Avenue between Tropicana and Warm Springs. You can use Pecos for north and southbound travel and Russell to head east or west. Watch for construction-related delays on Tropicana between the Strip and Industrial. East and westbound travel is moving slower than usual due to extra activity of construction vehicles. Boy, construction. We say it every day, don't we?
We'll have more on the morning commute a little later in this half hour.
Also, Deborah Cohen will join us with her business report. And today we set sail on a replica of a Viking ship.
A possible toxic spill at the Sunset Postal Center kept the Clark County Fire Department scrambling overnight. Firemen and the hazardous materials team were called out when workers at the post office reported that 4 containers they were handling spilled. Officials say the containers were filled with chlordane, a herbicide that is toxic. They say it is illegal to transport such a substance through the post office. 4 workers who were exposed to the liquid were taken to Desert Springs for decontamination.
Some of the liquid apparently got on them, on the parts of their clothing. But again, no complaints of any reaction to that. Somehow, if it got on them, I suppose it leaked out. How it got out of the container, whether it was dropped, whether it came that way, whether it bubbled, I don't have any way of knowing it right now.
We will have an update on the spill today on our 5:30 newscast. Metro Police say they will move to close down Tarkanian Celebrity Sports Club because of repeated trouble there. Early Sunday morning, 19-year-old Jarvis Delane Rice was killed in a shootout with police outside the club. Officers say Rice was a gang member and he was carrying a gun. The shooting sparked a riot and 8 people were arrested. Metro says the club owners were irresponsible in allowing gang members to wear their colors to the club, thereby endangering the lives of others.
The business people in the immediate area are scared to death. They don't know if they're going to have a business the next day when they come to work or not. And I think the putting both elements together there, that we hope that the county commission will see fit to revoke the license of this establishment.
Rebel basketball coach Jerry Tarkanian lends his name to the club, but he is a minor partner and has no role in the club's management.
A shooting in Los Angeles touched off a similar riot over the weekend. The riot broke out after a Los Angeles County sheriff shot and killed a Latin male. According to police, the officer was protecting his partner, who had been hit with a bottle. The same man who threw the bottle was approaching officers with a flashlight when the deputy fired. There are claims that the sheriff is a member of a white supremacist group. L.A. City Councilman Richard Alatorre is demanding the department clean itself up. Millions of people across the country are expected to be spending this evening on their porches, lawns, and front steps. It's called National Night Out, and Metro is asking Las Vegans to take part. The goal of the program is to get more people involved with neighborhood watch groups. From 8 until 10 tonight, Las Vegans are being asked to turn on porch lights and spend the evening outside. For more information on the event, you can call Metro's Crime Prevention Unit at 229-3507.
Former Las Vegas City Clerk Carol Ann Hawley has settled her suit against the city. Hawley announced yesterday that she has agreed to accept $211,000 to drop her legal action. Hawley says the settlement is fair and honorable and that she is happy with it. Hawley was fired after she raised questions about irregularities in the 1987 mayoral election. She filed a wrongful termination suit in 1988. She has since taken a job as city clerk of Boulder City. Entertainer Wayne Newton is taking his case to the U.S. Supreme Court. Newton has asked the High Court to reverse a lower court ruling in his case against NBC. That ruling overturned a $5.2 million libel award against NBC. Newton has been battling NBC for years over a series of reports called Wayne Newton and the Law. Newton charged that NBC libeled him when the report suggested he bought the Aladdin Hotel with help from the mob.
The United Way is calling on the community to come together. This afternoon, the organization will hold a preview to the high road to a caring community. Local news anchors, including Channel 13's Mary Ruth Carleton and John Daly, will provide the media's perspective on a number of issues facing Southern Nevadans. The preview will begin at noon today at the United Way building at 1660 East Flamingo. The call for help continues to sound for a local man in need of a heart transplant. Osvaldo Gomez suffers from congestive heart disease, and without a transplant, he could die within a few months. The family's medical insurance will not cover the $80,000 cost for the transplant. So to help the family, a trust has been set up. It is the Osvaldo Gomez Trust at Valley Bank. The number is 510-165-633.
We've got a number of calls, but obviously they need a lot more money.
Yeah, they're getting some calls, so that's good news. Hopefully it'll continue.
Coming up, Deborah Cohen will have our morning stock report.
And Parent Team begins a look into teens being parents. Deborah Cohen joins us now. Deborah, Motorola, one of the few bright spots for American companies these days.
Yeah, seem to be beating the Japanese at their own game with the new cellular phones. Motorola, in a bid to recapture its edge in cellular telephones, today plans to unveil the long-awaited successor to its revolutionary pocket-sized phone. By the way, it's under a pound in weight. The stock was at $65 1/4. Car sales improved further in late July as the rate of sales of U.S. cars edged up from mid-July, but sales for domestic cars and trucks were still down over 10% from a year earlier. Automakers, however, expressed optimism that the industry's emerging recovery will continue. In the silver market, the COMEX is investigating a sale by Morgan Guarantee of $4.25 million in silver futures contracts to money manager Paul Tudor Jones. The inquiry centers on whether the trade was illegally prearranged. Broker Evan Myers, who handled both the sell and buy orders in the J.P. Morgan trade, was fined $500 on the spot for executing the trade before the opening bell. And Schwinn Bicycle says it will close its plant in Greenville, Mississippi in early October and shift production to foreign-owned plants in Taiwan and China. This will leave only one U.S.-owned plant in Waterford, Wisconsin. Let's see what the market did yesterday. We were down over 17 points, 29.89 on the Dow, 126 million shares were traded. Oil up 0.07, gold up 40 cents, silver up 0.4. Nevada Power, Southwest Gas, both utilities unchanged. Centel 31 3/8. Circus off 7/8. Caesars 26 3/4. Blockbuster Entertainment 10 1/8 unchanged. John and Mary Ruth, the market opened up a point. And other news that might help us in the business world, it seems that the biggies at Mutual Benefit might just not get those $1 million parachutes. So good guys win again.
Schwinn bicycles are all made in Japan now.
Almost all of them.
Boy, breaks my heart.
Thank you, Deborah.
Welcome.
Almost 14% of all babies born in Clark County are born to teenage mothers, and 95% of those teen mothers will keep their babies.
As we begin a look at teens as parents in this week's Parent Teen, Channel 13's Shelley Wintermark talks with a young woman who gave birth to her son when she was 18 years old.
Ago. She's 18 and giving birth to her son, Avion. The pregnancy was unplanned, but Lalisa opted to keep her baby. Now Lalisa is a single parent, raising Avion by herself.
It's kind of hard being a single parent sometimes because there's things that you have to put aside because you have to get it for your baby or you have to pay more bills and stuff like that.
Did you realize that you'd have to make so many sacrifices for yourself?
No, as a matter of fact, I figured everything was going to be cookies and cream because I was young and things, and I knew I wanted to work, period. And I knew I always wanted something, but I did want a baby, but I didn't think I was going to have to make as many sacrifices being a single parent as I did.
Today, Lalisa is 20 and Avion is 1.5 years. While Lalisa lost some of her teenage years by having a child so young, she isn't bothered by that loss. Lalisa says she isn't a real social person and would rather stay at home and have water gun fights with her little boy. It's not easy being a single parent at such a young age, but Lalisa says her mother is very supportive and her aunt volunteers to babysit Avion while she's at work. She likes her life the way it is, but cautions others about having sex and babies at a young age. And she warns young girls to watch out for those guys who make promises just to get you into bed.
And that's just the end of the end, because that's where I made my big mistake. Though he was feeding my head, saying, I'm going to take care of the baby, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and that's not true, you know. They say good things so they can get in there, and when they get in there and get you pregnant, it's just like the end of the line. Don't do it.
In tomorrow's Parent Teen, Elisa talks about her goals in life and the vow she's made to herself. Shelley Wintermark, Channel 13 News.
Boy, she's
That's
got
a
a
big
tough
responsibility,
job.
huh?
Cute little boy.
Yeah.
Dressing for success after a hiatus from the workforce.
Our in-studio guest will tell us exactly how when we come back. Let's take another look at the morning commute with Skyview 13, and it is a busy one. Lots of construction to watch out for. Southbound I-15 at the Tropicana underpass has been closed down for continued road work. All southbound traffic is using a northbound lane. Access to east and westbound Tropicana is now available from I-15. Plan on construction-related delays on Lamb Boulevard between Owens and Charleston. You'll be restricted to one lane of travel north and southbound. The roadway is down to the dirt. Watch for construction also on Tropicana between the Strip and Industrial. East and westbound travel is moving slower than usual due to the extra activity of construction vehicles in the area. Lots of road work out there. Well, thousands of American women are returning to the workforce or entering it for the first time these days. One of the things they're concerned about is how to dress for success. Mary Ruth's guest today has some advice on what to do. Mary Ruth?
John, Las Vegas women are lucky because there is a special program to help them get into the workforce. It is called Reentry, and it is available through Community College of Southern Nevada. Our guest today is the executive director of the Reentry program. Her name is NJ Pettit. NJ, tell us first about the Dress for Success program. How does that work?
The Dress for Success at the Reentry Center is a series of workshops that we present to women within the area about how to dress when you want to go back to work or when you're entering the workforce for the first time. We have a clothes closet available at the center that is free to women that are re-entering, and people within the community have donated clothes, and we are still accepting clothes. They're welcome to come in and choose clothing that is appropriate to return to work. Many times, if you're out of the workforce for several years, all you have are jeans or inappropriate clothing. So we have things like nice slacks, nice dresses, nice suits. We have women within the community that volunteer time to come in and do workshops on how to put clothes together from the thrift shops or from people that are willing to donate clothes. They talk about how to put accessories together, what kind of clothing is appropriate in terms of wearing skirts that are not too short or things that oftentimes we who have been in the workforce for many years already know, but those that are just entering sometimes don't think about things like that.
Now, I know you have some other programs over at the center. What basically is the idea? It is a support system for women who are making this big step of going back into the workforce?
Our center is funded by 3 different grants. They're aimed at women that wish to go back to school or wish to go back to work. Because of the death or divorce of a spouse, they're oftentimes left with no training. They haven't been to work for several years, and they're now having to face the possibility of supporting themselves and sometimes family. So we take them and we assess their needs. We offer support groups, we offer counseling, free workshops on things like self-esteem, motivation, preparing a resume, dressing for success, and we help to prepare them to go back to the workforce so that they can support their families.
You must have some really nice success stories, I bet, because some women have probably really benefited from that. Yes,
and there's a lot of heartwarming stories out there. Women that have come into us in tears, with very, very low self-esteem, and with assistance from us, and they're willing to pick up the pieces and move on. We now have some that have entered the workforce and have been working successfully for several months that come back and tell us with tears in their eyes how well they're doing, and it makes it worthwhile. It's a struggle for them, but oftentimes they do succeed.
Now, somebody who's interested, who really wants to take that step and get back into the workforce, what do? They call you?
Yes, they should call our center, and the number is 643-6060, and it's extension 272.
Okay.
We have counselors, we have peer advisors, and there's many of us that are willing to talk to them personally about what they want to do, what kind of goals they have in their lives, and how we can assist them.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in today,
Thank
MJ.
you very
We appreciate it. We know a lot of people can take advantage of this.
Thanks.
Thanks again. Coming up, Nate will have our sunny and warm forecast. And in sports, Monday Night Football is back. Ron will take a look at last night's Super Bowl rematch. Stay with us.
Well, this is the part of the show where we start repeating ourselves. More sunny and warm weather. Yeah.
Let's take a look outside right now at our current conditions. 75 degrees, it is clear, humidity 21%, winds westerly at 6 miles per hour, and the barometer is rising. And with a peek at our week ahead outlook, here's Nate.
Morning, Mary Ruth. John, good morning to you. We've got a weak little cold front that's trying to move on down our way. Maybe a couple of clouds, but really nothing to worry about. They did have some showers yesterday up around Reno, but we think most of the energy will be well to the north. They had over an inch of rain in an hour yesterday in Denver. Other showers in Texas, the upper Midwest, along the stationary front, and maybe down south. Let's check out forecast high temperatures for later today. Cloudy and 64 in San Francisco. Phoenix yesterday with a few clouds, and looks like they'll have some more today. Here's our forecast for the rest of tonight. It's over here, isn't it? Oh, it's early this morning. Uneventful today. High around 100, winds to 20. For tonight, mostly clear, the low in the upper 60s. How about that? Winds to 20. For tomorrow, mostly sunny, the high around 100 and winds to 20. Let's take it on through the rest of the week and get a peek at the weekend, see where we're going to end up here. A couple of degrees below normal, but actually quite nice. The poetry today, a piece of cake, easy to take. And I bet you we're going to see crowds at the lake on Saturday.
I bet he's right.
I bet he is too, but it's a little bit cooler. 65 degrees tonight?
It's about 5 or 6 degrees cooler at least. Well, the Los Angeles Dodgers, your favorite team.
My favorite team.
Maybe number one in the NLS, but they sure aren't showing it.
As Channel 13's Ron Futrell reports, the Dodger Blue lost another one last night.
Good morning, everybody. Strange thing here. We're all singing the Dodger Blues right now, but the team still is in first place in the National League West. But that lead is quickly slipping away for the Dodgers right now. Last night, a subdued Lou showed up as the Reds hosted the Dodgers. In right field, of course, you got Darryl Strawberry out there. And he just made a spectacular throw here to the plate, hustling to the ball, and barely misses the speedy Jose Rio. Up by 10 feet at the home plate there. Paul O'Neill hits one right. There's the speedy Darryl. Flying over to get the ball. Dives after the ball. That guy's making $4 million. He barely played right field in this game last night. As the Reds score a couple of runs and the Dodgers lose the game, the final 10-6, they have lost 4 straight. Football last night, Monday Night Football. Yeah, it was the debut of the exhibition season for Monday Night Football last night. There is Ray Handley, the new coach of the Giants, former running back coach, as he hands it off to his running back right there. Didn't hand it off, but at least got him the ball. And he goes in. Otis Anderson, OJ, goes in for the touchdown there, 7-3 Giants. And then Jeff Hostetler back, scrambles, finds Maurice Carthen, hits him. Maurice does the rest. A little shake and bake to the left, fakes a couple of guys out, stumbles at the 5-yard line. Later, it was Tillman going over for the touchdown to make it 17-10. Giants over the Bills. Giants went on to win by the final score of 23-17. The Bills, not a very good preseason team, as Marv Levy says. He doesn't really care about the preseason, but a great football team should be there at Super Bowl time out of the AFC. We shall see later this year. Of course, also last night, Tampa Bay was a winner over Cleveland, 23-10. Tonight, it's Tuesday. We're going to have another edition of Tuesday's Tips for you at 5:30, so we'll see you then.
I should have watched the football game last night. It would have been much happier.
Dodgers, it's really tough to watch them lose like that, isn't it?
Padres too, John.
Well, have you ever seen the likes of a historic Viking ship?
When we return, we'll sail again on the Gaia, which will soon travel to America. The voyage of the Viking ship Gaia may not be well known to many people here in the U.S.
But as ABC's Jim Furlong reports, it's history on water, and it will soon be here.
It was back in May that Captain Ragnar Torseth pointed the nose of the Gaia out of Bergen, Norway, and headed to the New World. Since that time, the Viking replica has battled high winds, heavy seas, and encountered ice, but has performed well. After a stop at Iceland, the Gaia completed another leg of her voyage on Friday when her square sail loomed out of the fog at Lance Meadows on the tip of Newfoundland's Great Northern Peninsula. The crew of the Gaia were given a hero's welcome, with government representatives from Norway and Iceland, the federal government in Ottawa, and the province on hand. The Gaia and her crew had performed well, and in her better moments, achieved something that, according to the captain, was almost spiritual.
10.5, 11 knots as an average. That means that you are surfing maybe 15, 16, 17 knots, and that's really a good feeling. Then you're going so fast down the waves that you go faster than the wind. That's really something.
The Gaia is to set sail today from Lanza Meadows to her next port of call, St. John's. She'll arrive on Friday and stay about a week in the capital. From there, it's on to Halifax, Boston, and New York. Then in October, the Gaia will sail up the Potomac to Washington. She'll arrive in the American capital the same week in which the Americans celebrate Columbus Day. Columbus, of course, was that other discoverer.
That other discovery. That's a beautiful
That's
ship.
pretty neat, huh?
We fun to sail on
Of course,
that one.
the Vikings say Leif Erikson, I guess, was the guy who discovered America. And the Italians, of course, disagree.
Yes. Now we've had our history of the day. That's going to do it for us this morning.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day now.